3, 2, 1.
See that little sound in the end?
Oh, that.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated, but I rose to the challenge, and I did what I had to do. So, welcome back to Good Not Great, episode number 8.
Is it? Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
It's a little hard to say the episode numbers because we are trying to pull a sneaky move on all of you. Is that right?
It's not that sneaky.
We're trying to delay the editing so that we can release the podcast on the same day every week. So you have not heard from us. Well,
by the time they hear this,
you heard a 2-week gap, and then you had like one episode, and now there's this episode. So we're coming to you from the past. That's always how it was. We were always coming from the past, but now we're coming even further back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so lost in this time loop that you're creating, but I think you're right.
Yeah.
I think you're right. Go on.
So what do you have today?
Well, so I have a cup with me today because I'm going to be doing a hard pour with a nitro.
Now, I assume you've watched the video.
Which one?
On how to do this. You know, like a true expert.
Yes. So the guys at Source released a video to explain to anybody who hasn't had a nitro beer before that you don't just sip it right out of the can. You have to hard pour it into a cup. We've done that before on the show. And I'm going to do it again. This has Java in it. Coffee for the layman, you know, in case anybody doesn't know that. I don't do great with caffeine after a certain hour. So, you know, beer and coffee mixed. Hopefully those two cancel each other out. But
I'm proud of you for trying. You know, like this is.
That was.
Boop, boop, boop. It's good. I'm not doing it again. That was the last move. So yeah.
I'm gonna hard pour it, and we're gonna hope for the best.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Okay. So far, just to kind of talk about it, it's going into the cup. It's got a little bit of the foam at the top. He's gonna exit early. Don't make him.
It's not. Just makes me nervous.
No, it's pretty empty. Okay. Good job.
It's close. Yeah.
No, it's good.
So, real quick, this is Java and Oats by Source Farmhouse Brewery. I'm pretty psyched about this. I have said in the past I'm a Stout fan. This has smooth coffee chocolate tastes to it, conditioned on Costa Rican microlat coffee beans.
Which kind?
Microlat.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Pretty excited to try this. I can smell it. I could smell it since I've opened it. It has a very nice, strong smell, and it's only 5% ABV. So I'm actually pretty psyched about this. I'm gonna crush this one pretty hard, I think. Yeah,
I think it's great.
Have you had it already?
I have. Yeah.
Okay.
I got 2 4-packs of it when it came out. Someone was joking that they thought it was a tribute beer, and that that they misspelled Java and it should be Hall, which is funny.
Hall and Oats.
Okay, so what I have here is I've snuck one of Katie's favorite beers out of the house without her knowing. This is a River Horse Triple Horse, which of course is a Belgian Tripel. This is a Belgian-style ale brewed with spices. You got the Hippo, which of course we've covered on previous episodes. The Hippo is
the River Horse.
The River Horse. And this reminds me of just like, I got to shout out Belgium real quick, and I got to tell a brief story.
Go ahead.
So we went to Brussels. It was like our whole family went, and we were actually, it was like the first leg of a trip that was supposed to be Brussels, and then we're going to Milan, and then we were going to this place where we were staying for a couple weeks in a town called Lucca in Italy. It was going to be this awesome trip, but the start of it was that we were spending 9 days in Brussels. This was like a 1.5 long trip, which is ridiculous, and I realized, but we did it. So we stay at this place called the Fun Key Hotel, and Kate's mother was with us. So at night, a couple nights, she was like, you know, just like, I'm tired. I'll watch the kids. You should get out of here. And presented with that opportunity, of course,
you did.
You get out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one day we're in this area. There's, I think like Brussels is like it feels like a very proper city, at least in the downtown area.
Okay.
But there is this one area that has just like insanity vibe going on.
Like party mode 24/7.
Party mode 24/7. Okay. It's this like very old area of town, which is like that kind of happens in a lot of towns like this. So you go into this old area of town, And it's just like everything is just crushed into this area. You know, there's like restaurants. There's like restaurants on the second floor. There's people screaming at each other. There's just noise everywhere. And for the most part, it's like adult fun. You know, it's not like a wild scene.
Comparable to like Bourbon Street in New Orleans?
No, I would say like this was more like you are. I don't know. It's like you're in Puerto Rico. Like it was not out of control.
Okay.
But then there's this one area toward the end where it is out of control. And there's this place there called Delirium Village. So for anyone not familiar with Delirium, they're a brewery that is particularly known for some pretty intense beers. Their probably most famous beer is Delirium Tremens, which of course is named after the shakes that you get when you don't have alcohol for a while. So we go into this place, and it turns out that it's not actually just one place. It's a network of places. You can get from one to the other. You can get like in all different areas of them. There's a craft beer bar. There's a gin bar. There's an absinthe bar.
That's awesome.
They're all connected. And I employ my secret mechanism for finding the fun, which is I find someone that looks like they're having fun, and then I attach myself to that fun.
You just become their best friend, whether they want you to or not.
Yeah. No, I mean like it's just like let's see what happens with this fun, and let's just do that.
Do you mean like you try to like inject yourself into their
no,
group, or you just follow along with what?
I mean, it's like a real crowded room.
Yeah.
It's like so we're in this craft beer bar upstairs. We're having a great time.
And
we see this girl, and we're just like, that girl is like funny, and she's got all these people. It's just like let's just go where she goes after this. You know, like not follow her, not be part of her group, but just like she's gonna go to a different bar, and that's how we're gonna find the cool bar. So we follow her, and she goes like down this network of basement like corridors, hallways, and it's crowded the whole way through. In no way are we like stalking this girl.
She's just trying to get away from you. She knows you're chasing her.
she starts moving faster. We start moving faster.
She knows all the spots. She's just trying to find like the outdoors and find a police officer.
So she brought us through this like crazy network of buildings, and then all of a sudden we end up in, I would say, like the wildest place that I've ever been. It's just like wall-to-wall people, definitely not COVID safe, and like it's so loud. And
is this a bar? Or is this part of the same?
It was part of the same thing.
Labyrinth
it was
of
like
other things.
There's all these like tribute bars to like all the different spirits that Delirium has in this Delirium Village, and then it turns out the entire basement underneath all of them is just a giant open space party bar.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So you have your technique sounds like it works too. You find the person that's having the best time, and you don't become part of their group. You just stalk them until you end up at the place that.
Yeah, I mean, said poorly, that's exactly what we did. I feel like it's a little less
accurate.
Weird. I mean, I was with my wife. We're just stalking funny girl, you know, until she does something cool, and it worked out.
That sounds pretty awesome.
I think at some point in the night we talked to her, and she was cool. It's fine.
You told her that you weren't actually stalking.
Yeah, when we chased you back there, that was just like we were just playing games or whatever.
Yeah, you can put your pepper spray down, by the way. You don't have to worry about it.
No, she was cool. She was cool.
Cool, so let's get into some topics. By the way, I really want to talk, like, this is really nice. Like, it's a stout, but it doesn't feel heavy like a stout does. I've actually, now that I've like been drinking them a lot this winter, I've been trying to sort of mix it up a little bit. This is really nice. This isn't heavy. It still has all of the flavors that are promised on the label, but it's not like filling me up, which
there's two components probably to that. One is like it's a nitro, so there's no carbonation in the beer. So you're not going to get the bloating you're going to get with like a normal stout. And the second thing, of course, is that the alcohol, like you said, is 5% instead of 11.
It's a very easy drinking beer. It's not, I'm not struggling to get these sips down. This is really nice.
A pedantic note is that, and someone could probably correct me on this, but a stout is essentially, the word stout is supposed to mean stout porter. Meaning like a porter that is stronger than a porter. So I would say at 5%, could go either way. I'm not sure.
Interesting.
But yeah, maybe you would like. Have you ever tried? Like, have you gotten into porters at all? You might like them because they are lighter.
I probably have. I don't recall any that were memorable enough to talk about.
Well,
let's get into some topics.
Yeah, I got one to start us off, which is the fact that I have not worn anything but this sweatshirt for a few weeks. It's feeling good. We got these sweatshirts made. They look like that. They got the BeerBroadcast logo on them. Yeah. This is we got some misprint action. So this is a limited release one that I have on. Colin has the newer bolder text one. Katie stole my bold text ones. These are great. They're really soft inside.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know, like maybe they're just for us, but like they're really freaking comfortable.
Yeah. I mean, I'll give them a shout out. Bella and Canvas is like my new favorite. I'm wearing
You get it? Yeah.
I'm wearing a Bella and Canvas t-shirt underneath a Bella and Canvas hoodie. You're not?
Not today, but normally
Looks
I
like
do.
It could be. Yeah.
Colin included me on his scam.
It's not. First of all, it's not a scam. It is.
We pay $3 for t-shirts now.
Yeah, get on it, everybody. Go to shirtspacecom and you can buy blanks. The site exists for like screen printers to sell in bulk. They have no minimum. There you go. First one.
$1.93.
First one on the list right there. Bella and Canvas $3.96. And
you know what? Splurge. Get the $4 one. Don't get the $2 one. That's
full price. They have sales all the time.
We paid something like $2.50.
Yeah.
I got the Heather ones, and as a bonus, your nanny folded them for me.
Yeah, which was awesome.
I mean, I don't know.
Because she was like, where did you get these from?
She works at she was like, these are really nice, and she folded them.
Oh yeah, she
worked somewhere where.
Yeah, I can't remember what it was now.
Yeah, not like in a folding factory. She worked in like a place that sells clothes. So
yeah, like a retail store.
Them, yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think between the two of us, we got like 20 or 30 t-shirts, and it was like, because we bought in semi-bulk and because of the sale, I think it was like $60 for that many shirts.
Yeah. If you want in on our scam, just email us. We'll include you on the next order.
It's but don't say anything about it being a scam, because it's just being informed. It's being a good.
Would you agree
Internet
that
citizen.
The insides of these? Oh, another thing about Bella and Canvas is if you ever get a shirt, maybe this is obvious because we're wearing one that is this, but if you ever get a shirt like from a company, a lot of times those are Bella and Canvas, and like they hold up really well. They wash really well. I've washed those shirts so many times, and yeah, there's
only some styles that shrink more than others. Like a pure black T-shirt for some reason shrinks more than the Heather,
like the Questacat
blend ones. Yeah. So yeah, definitely a big Bella and Canvas fan. Shout out to them, and yeah, go on shirtspace.com, look at some t-shirts. Don't spend $10 on some, or $20 even on one of those like fancy, like, we cut it just for your body. It's like, no, you didn't.
Oh, yeah, the boxy dad shirt one.
Yeah.
If you are out there, if you're Bella or Canvas and you're listeing, we like the shirts, you know?
Yeah, preferably both of you. We'd like to have both of you respond to us, but if we can just get one of you.
If just Bella.
Yeah. I don't know if it's Bella, Mrs. Bella, or Mr. Canvas. I don't know. You know, whoever you are, please contact us.
Please contact us immediately. That's Bella right there.
That's Bella right on the front.
So we've had a rough week too. This has been a complex week for us.
Week or more?
More like 2.5 weeks or something like that.
It's been a little while, yeah.
We've been struggling with a problem, and the problem is that obviously one of the best ways to reach people for releases, and one of kind of like the trademark features of the platform, is that we send out these text message alerts that tell people when there's new beer.
Yep.
We've done them from the beginning. This is like kind of what the entire thing was founded on. And then sometime about 2.5 to 3 weeks ago, AT&T, you're on notice.
No shout out for AT&T.
No shout out for AT&T.
Reverse shout out.
We should just bleep that part.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No free sponsorship.
No free. So AT&T decided that they wanted to block our messages to recipients, which are, of course, like AT&T is a major carrier, so a quarter of our text messages just kind of stop going through.
Yeah.
I use AT&T.
Yep.
For now. and so I didn't get the messages. Customers didn't get the messages. And because of how effective the text messages are, we actually see like a dip in sales for some of our breweries. At least like not necessarily a dip in like overall sales, but a dip in like kind of the time that it takes to get the amount of sales that we normally would get.
A release which should be, regardless of what's on sale, should have this like viral component to it because of the amount of people that are learning about it at the same time and that are being directed to it, kind of gets washed away when you're only reaching 75% of the people who are signed up. And then you can get like into the weeds about it and say we might only be getting 75% of their subscriber base, but what if that 75% isn't subscribed for text notifications, and the majority of their subscribers who have text notifications are AT&T users, then it's an even bigger loss.
Yep.
So
the customers of certain carriers are more likely to purchase.
Yeah, exactly.
Who knows? Like, who knows what's going on?
It's just a big problem that can't happen.
So this is a problem that we have fixed. At least like right now, things are working as they should. We continue to monitor it, and I think like one way to look at it is like, oh, this platform like messed up this thing, and that's not good. Another way to look at it, and probably the way that we hope a lot of our breweries look at it, if you have a service or you're maintaining a service or building a service like this yourself, you're gonna have this problem. Like, you're gonna run into this.
Yeah.
And we're a company designed to fix these problems.
For sure.
Like we encountered it. We chased down what we had to do. We made the changes necessary to fix it. We got these toll-free numbers, very fancy.
Yep. They don't have that kind of problem.
And now we don't have that problem anymore.
So I think the important thing to also cover is a lot of breweries are using Square. We know that that's a very popular...
seems like pretty much all of them.
Yeah,
really,
it seems like they've got a pretty good chunk of breweries using them, which is great. They have a ton of great tools. One of the new tools they just released was the ability to communicate with customers via text message. Now, that's awesome.
It's a very cool feature.
We're in this as a way to help breweries reach more customers, make more money, and then also on the flip side to help customers reach or discover more breweries and have access to more beer that they might not get normally. So totally support that. I think that's great. The problem is that because Square is such a large sort of net for different stores, they aren't necessarily thinking about the breweries that are using their service and
that's a great point.
Are potentially using the text messaging service
Yeah, we should be a little bit more transparent about this. The reason that the text messages did not get delivered through AT&T is because they are promoting beer.
Yeah.
Right? And there's like essentially this alliance of mobile, nothing's illegal about it, but there's an alliance of mobile carriers that have agreed that they have certain standards for the contents of the text message.
Right.
So the fact that we wrote beer in the message made AT&T block the messages. And actually by extension of that, like they probably put us in a registry that would have, if we had continued down the course that we were on, had us blocked for other carriers as well.
Yeah.
But think about like Square, like you said, has so many other merchants. Most of their merchants are restaurants. If they encounter a problem with the word beer or something like that, they're just going to not do anything about it. It doesn't matter.
They have enough other people using them that they don't have to worry about these one-off cases.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you got blocked for beer? Like,
yeah,
that's it. Don't write beer anymore. I don't know what to tell you.
And I think you shared this with me when we were looking into this, because we were wondering at the time when we were working through some of these problems, we were wondering, okay, what did they do?
How did they fix it?
Yeah. And then you found this sort of like, not buried, but like sort of tucked away FAQ that talks about exactly the same rules that we ran into, which is the acronym is SHAFT.
And that's what we got.
And so the A in SHAFT is alcohol. The rest is firearms, tobacco, harassment, and anything that's sexual that's like inappropriate to be sending to customers who are just looking for promotions. Like they're not looking for that kind of stuff. So the A in shaft is alcohol. Square.
That's my favorite of the letters.
A.
Yeah, in the acronym.
It's right in the middle, and it stands for a pretty cool thing.
Yeah.
So they have in their FAQ or in their whatever their documentation about it that they are not responsible for your number getting shut down because of texting something that goes against that policy. And so they're basically washing their hands of the situation, saying that if you get shut down, not our problem. You've been warned. And so we are aware of places that are using it specifically for that, and they're not thinking about these same problems. So they're not thinking like eventually someone's going to catch on that I keep saying, buy my new beer, come to my brewery, all these keywords that are going to pop up, and it's eventually going to get them shut down, and then they're going to be out of luck. And so,
yep. And your entire user base is going to be stuck on a platform that you can't message.
Right.
So,
and yeah, so and because that is incredibly important to the success of our business model, we spent 3 weeks. We switched away from one service provider to another and then back because we were testing out all these different service providers to really like put them to the test. Try it. It fails. Okay, you can't solve our problem. Let's go back to this one. We finally landed on the thing that seems to work.
Yep. Following in the carrier's recommendations.
Yeah.
Importantly.
Doing everything that's required for it to be to pass their rules or whatever. So
I got to shit talk the carriers for just a second.
Please
which
do.
Is we.
Who likes any of them?
It's like, here's the recommendation on how you can fix this problem. You can buy a short code from us for $11,000 upfront cost and then X amount per year.
No, that doesn't solve it. Did you know that?
It's just like you have to apply for this short code and then they're going to...
No, you can buy a short code and the same rules apply to that as they do to everything else. You can have your short code banned permanently if you continue to sort of go outside of their policy. It's because to them it's like, this is a vanity short code that belongs to you or it's shared. The next step is like a toll-free number, which is like business oriented, and then there's like a 10-digit, which just looks like a cell phone number.
The changes we've made are, I would say Square would never make a change like that. For example, just to give a little inside baseball, as they say,
do it
on the changes. One of the problems with sending out text messages is, of course, we want to write what brewery sent the message. So you want to say something like 902 Brewing just released X beer on BeerBroadcast. Shout out 902 Brewing. You guys are awesome, Jersey City.
Yeah.
So when they send that text message out, there's a problem with that, which is that 902 Brewing has fucking brewing in the name. Yep. Like all breweries do. They all say Source Farmhouse Brewery.
Yeah.
Bradley Brew Project. And
Alternate
that's how they find the
company.
messages about alcohol, is they just like search for brewery or beer and look for messages that are being sent a bunch of times.
Yep.
So we've actually gone and created this alternate name for all the breweries on the platform that automatically get sent out in text messages instead of the real name.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, Source Farmhouse Brewery sends out as Source.
Yep.
Would Square ever add that? It doesn't make any sense.
No, and it's such a small detail, such a fine detail.
Yeah.
That like it didn't take any time for you to implement that, right?
But it doesn't make sense for restaurants.
Exactly. So what I'm saying is that regardless of how much time it takes to implement, it's such a specialty feature to build into something because they're not thinking about that. They're thinking the same thing that we did back on day one with BeerBroadcast. We're like, cool. Now a text message is going to come to your phone and it's going to have a message about new beer. That was as much thought as we gave about the limitations with text messages because we didn't know about all these rules yet. That I guarantee is as far as Square has thought because they can't possibly have specialty edge cases for all of their merchants. Mm-hmm. There's just so many different types of people selling beer or selling. That's a BeerBroadcast menu right there embedded on their website.
Yeah, we power that menu.
Just another cool feature.
That's another thing. Is like if you're a brewery thinking like, oh, BeerBroadcast is special because of these text messages, like that's just the start. I mean, we're looking at the source menu on the screen here, and the menu is powered by the same inventory that is the inventory that you're selling, that's tied to your Square inventory, that's tied to like what you might offer at events. We're doing the whole thing together, and you get John and fucking Colin. If you need something changed, if you need a feature, you need something fixed, we're gonna do it. You're gonna email us. Colin's gonna answer.
That's what I was gonna say. You're not getting somebody on the phone who's in like a call center who doesn't really care about your problems. They're just trying to get their 9 to 5 in and go home. Like, email us at there's definitely
email
people
us
out
right
there.
now.
That's what I was gonna say. There's definitely people out there. Like, somebody emailed at like 3 a.m. and I didn't see it when it first came in, but like I woke up in the middle of the night to do something and I saw it. I responded at 3 a.m. to somebody else who was in New Jersey at 3 a.m. for some silly reason. But like that's the real deal. That's what you're getting. And I mean, I don't know. I don't think there's a better.
Is Jack Dorsey going to respond at 3 a.m.? Doubtful.
He doesn't even use Twitter anymore, and he built the thing.
Just on my Twitter. Just trying out.
That's pretty crazy.
My tweeter.
All right, let's go into some other topics.
You got
here.
something? I got topics for days.
I like the one that you wanted to talk about. I like too. So,
wait, you stealing my podcast or topic? Or?
I was going to introduce it, give you like a big song and dance, and then you get to talk about it. But I'm gonna be the intro. I'm gonna be your hype man for a minute.
Not sure where this is going.
It's not gonna go anywhere weird.
All right. Cool.
So yeah, I think within the craft beer space, there isn't a single person who hasn't heard of Untappd. Untappd is the leader when it comes to anything related to craft beer right now. They're making really big moves. There's a lot of great things that they're doing. They're doing it right. And it started with some guys who had a similar sort of background and vision as John and I have. And those two people were Greg Avola and, oh, nice.
That guy's drinking into the future right now.
What?
We can't talk about that.
He
must be at someone's house. Okay, sorry.
Unless it's from like an old batch. Anyway, so the founders of Untappd, Greg Avola, and I don't recall the other founder's name.
Mm-hmm. It's okay.
But just recently, Greg, in a publicly shared video, announced that he would be stepping down from his responsibilities as a founding member of Untappd.
Tim Mather, we hear you. We see you.
Tim Mather, yes. So go on. This was your topic. I just wanted to introduce.
Yeah, I mean, like, so he gave this kind of, I guess, like a video stepping down kind of notice.
I think he knew that if he didn't do that, people were going to have a lot of questions, and so he sort of got in front of it and was like, here's everything. I've been doing this for the last 10 years of my life.
Yep.
It got way bigger than I thought it was going to get ever, and I just want to spend time like with my family, and I'm exhausted. And
how many things have probably happened? I mean, Untappd went from like independent company to like kind of, I would say, just as someone who has started a startup before and is currently doing it also, roughing it for a few years, like trying to figure out like, should we even keep doing this? You know, is like, what is the point of all of this? To getting acquired, to then figuring out like, you know, what does this mean? What's my role inside this company? Do I want to like try to go up in this company or something? Yeah, I mean, I think we've talked about this on the podcast before. I don't think we compete with Untappd.
No.
And I am really proud to see all that Greg has done on the site. And like, there's some definite markers there for things that I want to do in the future. I mean, I want to see the BeerBroadcast beer for sure. We're going to get there.
Yeah, we're going to have our own.
You know, they had like like my first check-in beer. It's exciting.
Yeah.
But Greg is also a developer. So, you know, part of like what he's doing, I see in like us, you know, we're starting out and like kind of following the same trajectory. And just like, it's hard to start your own thing. It's hard to go off on your own and like make something that didn't exist before, or to think, I mean, really anything aside from development, even just like, I mean, like Ming's here, like making like a podcast studio and people are coming in and recording podcasts. So just like to make something that didn't exist before. Yeah.
You kind of end up like spreading yourself out there. Yeah. And you're spreading yourself probably thinner than you want to be in all of those places. Like, I bet if we left this studio right now and we went to the other location, Ming would also be there. It's just that's just the way that he
would
works. He's
somehow
everywhere.
get there before us. Yeah.
He'd be set up and he'd be ready to go. But that's
He'd be like, I just have to wrap up a few things here.
yeah.
And then,
Which way did you take? How did you get there? Because we took the straight route there. Yeah, I mean that's
what you have to do.
right. So
you have to answer the emails at 3 a.m.
Yeah.
You have to like fix the things even if they seem minor with the website. You have to keep it up when the traffic comes. You have to pay the extra money and time that it takes to keep it up. That's what we're doing. That's what Greg did for 10 years. I salute that.
Yeah, I think it's great, and I think it's a well-deserved break. I hope he's getting something out of it. I hope it's not just like, I got to the end of my road and I'm handing off the baton and walking away with nothing. I hope he's walking away with something.
Greg, baby, buy your family an Airstream. Tour the world. I'll see you out there. Meet me at Shenandoah Valley RV
They
Park.
just started making Airstreams for offices.
I saw that. Yeah.
Which is very exciting. And
did you send me that?
yeah.
I love that.
I mean,
It's so cool.
I don't see all they did was they removed the bedroom and they replaced it with a desk, which is fine. But at the same time,
my God.
where are you supposed to sleep?
If I had seen this,
You really would have swapped a bedroom for an office?
I would have swapped a house for that thing. Look how cool that is.
Yeah.
And you're talking, so anyone looking to buy a house, you gotta have this on your mind because, like, I'm talking like first house.
Yeah.
You're at we talked about on the last podcast about how like I went crazy and drove across the country, right? This is that. You're at the time in your life when you can explore the world. For $100,000, you can buy essentially an Airstream that has an office, it has all the bathroom stuff you need, everything. You can tour the world for a couple of years, and then when you sell it, you're going to sell it for like $90K. You're going to get all your money back, just like
true.
a house.
I guess that's the bed.
I think that's not the bed. That's not the bed.
Where's the bed though in this office setting?
There's so this Airstream is a 30-foot Airstream, and normally, it's sick, right? So the 30-foot Airstream typically comes in a configuration where one end is a bedroom, which would be like the master, and then the other end is either a set of bunk beds or, in this case, an office.
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, you know what? I always forget that this isn't like a tour bus. You don't need to devote like 5 feet in the front to a driver's seat and everything else. This thing just gets towed everywhere.
It literally hitches onto like a ball. Like a ball hitch on the back of a pickup truck. So you still get the entire bed of the pickup truck, and when you get to the place you're going, you have your car. You don't have to tow anything behind it. We were at this RV park in Shenandoah, and this guy pulled up. Did I talk about the guy last week? This guy pulled up in more. Like a 30-foot tall motorhome.
No, I don't think
it's like the middle of the night. It's dark. We're sitting there like we're doing a campfire. He pulls up. 30-foot tall motorhome. He gets out and like kind of chuckles at our cool campfire.
Idiots.
He hooks the whole thing up. And then he turns on, so as soon as he closes the door, he turns on the underbody lights. So I'm there like trying to have a campfire. There's like this like Fast and the Furious like
There's
giant
just a rave
motorhome
happening next to you.
And all of a sudden Emerson, instead of like, he was enjoying the fire with me. We're like cutting wood together and stuff. Like he turns around, he's just like, there's lights underneath that thing. Just like, yeah, dude, I know.
That one? I want to go hang out with that guy.
Yeah, it's like, is that my daddy now? Because.
So are you ready for the next round? Or you're kind of slow today?
No, I'm not slow.
Well,
I told you before I came here. So we had a pizza before Adam made us the pizza. It was great. As always. I mean.
It's never bad.
It's never bad.
I've never.
You get the pepperoni and hot honey. It was so good. It's not my favorite of his pizzas.
It's
your favorite.
It is for sure. I would have also never put honey on a pepperoni pizza, but there's something about that. And we talked about this, but I don't think we know the answer. How do you make hot honey? We're saying like, do you ferment?
I think you heat it up. That's it.
No, hot as in like spicy.
I don't know about that.
Well, it is spicy somehow, so maybe it's not. There you go, hot honey right there.
The fact that there's a recipe for it means that it's probably chili.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's spicy, but I would have never thought to put that on a pepperoni pizza.
It's so good.
And that's just like, that's the stuff that's coming out of this guy's head, and he's making just unbelievable pizzas. And we're already signed up for a special secret buffalo chicken next week. Can't wait. We might end the podcast.
It kind of
early
is
today,
like
just
the
to go get it.
classic. That's the pizza we got that introduced us to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's going to be good to go back. But the reason I say it is because before I came here, I also ate dinosaur chicken nuggets. So
this is John's excuse for why he can't
I'm a
finish.
little full.
A couple more
This
sips
is
of
a
a beer.
10% alcohol beer also.
Oh well.
Okay.
I guess that's a good enough. I won't call it an excuse because it's a
Are
good.
you giving me a beer right
it's a
now?
good reason. Yeah, we're doing our share.
Okay.
It's share time.
Okay.
Time to share. Now I'm gonna assume that you've had this before, but I hope you haven't.
Yeah, feeling good about this.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Okay, 11.1%. Thanks for that. That's gonna be fun. I'm being more generous than that with my ABV here.
Fun. Did you go to the brewery?
No. I went to there's a Circus Liquors that opened near me. Almost as close as the other liquor store that I've had around me for a while, but not nearly the one that's been open near me has not had nearly as much craft selection as this new place. This place is just a wall of craft beer. Let me reiterate: a wall of craft beer in refrigerator
It's
space,
good.
and then a wall of craft beer on like dry shelves, like no refrigeration.
Now,
Packed.
have you've been to the real Circus Liquor, I assume?
The one with the big clown.
Yeah, the giant clown.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a staple of New Jersey. I think it also might be like a weird New Jersey
Yes. Definitely
icon
is.
situation.
We
I
used to call
didn't
it the
realize
scary
that this
clown.
new one had a good beer selection though, so I'm gonna have to stop in there.
It's not like a broad selection of craft beers, but it is. It's the ones that you'd probably be happy to find. So it's
You got my
Jughandle.
founders, of course.
Probably. I don't look for it, so I don't know. They've got Jughandle. They've got Cane, Carton. They've got Red Tank. I think they've got River Horse. They've got a lot of those like mid to like upper level breweries that you kind of find in a lot of any decent liquor store that's going to have a good craft selection, like sort of the go-tos for the craft selection. They've got all that.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've got like Red Tank, which
And by that you mean like Bell's, Founders, Victory stuff,
Yes, yep,
like that
yep.
kind of
yeah,
area.
yeah,
Yeah.
which is cool because I'm usually keeping it local, but they find a lot of stuff that's
Okay, I'm going to introduce
too.
this. Colin has brought me. Wait, all right. This
Yeah.
is not. It's okay.
why not?
Normally we do the opposite, but I'm gonna.
Oh yeah, no, go. I don't think there's an order.
Okay, Colin. Well, no. Normally we. I introduce that thing and you introduce this thing.
Oh, I didn't read the label, so you're
Okay,
gonna have to do it.
sure.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Well, this is one of my favorite styles of beer, which is a West Coast IPA. That's kind of my typical style. This is called Time and Space. It has Mosaic, Amarillo, and Cashmere hops. It is made by Jughandle Brewing Company in Tinton Falls, New Jersey, just down the road. Have you been there in person?
No, actually, and I'm a little disappointed in myself about that because that's one of those that I have always wanted to visit.
One time,
I just haven't done it.
all of a sudden on my credit card, there's these charges. They're like, wash. And I'm like, Katie, what the hell is this? And she's like, oh, that's my car wash subscription. And I was like, what? And it turns out she had registered for a car wash. Like you pay per month and you get unlimited car washes. I don't know what the hell why you would need that, but she.
doesn't?
And it's right next to Jughandle.
Okay.
So you can pull in, you can get a car wash,
Smart.
and then you can go to the brewery.
Smart move.
Yeah. And then she had to cancel it, but yeah.
Well, I'm glad.
She was like, do you ensure that you're not going to break my car? And they were like, no.
Oh, that's
Nice.
well.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I wouldn't have thought to ask that question, so good for her.
Yeah.
Well,
What do you got?
I have a Esbon's Metal Casket
Mm-hmm.
by Old Heights Brewing Company.
Beer broadcast.
On BeerBroadcast, that's right. It says Wee Heavy Scotch Style Ale aged with French oak. 11.1% ABV. Dark, malty, rich. and
Oh yeah, that clown. Oof, oof.
is that it? I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's all I want.
He's got a menacing face. That clown.
That's the OG scary clown.
Yeah, he is scary. Very hard parking lot to get into. It's a big parking lot, but it's like kind of in a weird place. What do you think?
It tastes really good, but I can already tell you that I don't think I can finish the whole thing because it is so heavy. If I started with this and it was the only beer I drank tonight, we'd be fine. Oh, you know what? What is that flavor I'm getting?
You're getting multiple layers.
It's so funny because I think it's with their beer every time I get like this. I always get like a candy aftertaste.
I feel like we have different. Your goal, I feel like, when you give me a beer, you're very nice to me, and you're trying to target things that you know that I like.
I thought Mosaic and Cashmere were both hits.
Totally, yeah. I mean, this beer is 100% the type of beer that I would drink.
Yep.
When I give you a beer, you're
trying to hurt me.
No, I'm trying to like expand boundaries. I'm trying to bring you like to something that is. I know you like these stout beers and they're in this direction. Let me go just like a little bit further. This admittedly is pretty far out.
Yeah.
Scotch ales are a love-hate beer.
It's not bad at all. I actually really enjoy the flavor of it. It's just every sip feels like a meal to me right now. And it's probably because we just both ate half a pizza. And it's also because it's probably just a heavier beer. But what I wanted to say was, now this is a very professional and educated description of a beer. I want everybody to know it tastes like when you have a chocolate Tootsie Pop and the first time you bite into it, like you bite through the shell, which you shouldn't do. Nobody should ever do that. But if you decide to bite the shell of a Tootsie Pop, and you get to like the center of the Tootsie Pop. The flavor
I was thinking
of
about
this.
Tootsie Roll. I was like,
no, Tootsie Pop. Like so,
just right through the wrapper. Just
yeah, that's how everybody eats them. But so like that first bite, and like just whatever that flavor is, that's like immediately released. Yeah. Like that's that's how I feel right now describing this. That's the flavor I'm getting. Yeah. That's the aftertaste flavor I'm getting, which is what I actually really love about this. Not that that's what they were going for, I'm sure, but that's what I'm taking away from this. And that's why I like it, because it's like kind of a nice sort of like sweet, chocolatey, almost like this is going to sound negative, but it's almost like a sugary-ish.
It is sugary. Yeah, that's a typical Scotch ale.
And it's interesting. I wasn't expecting that.
It's more like there's like a dessert beer.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yep, that's definitely spot on. If that's what this could be considered, then dessert wine now is that's my jam.
You like it? Like ports and
dessert wine?
Yeah, like port wine or what is your dessert wine?
I don't know. I went with my brother to a winery, and we were trying to be very, classy and have all the different wines, and
you spit them all out.
I only drank dessert wine, and I only bought a bottle of dessert wine. I was like, I think I like wine now. They're like, that's not real wine. It's like, well, I think I like wine now. So
to each their own. Yeah. This is my dessert wine.
I'm a wine drinker now. I'm going to tell everybody that I like wine, particularly dessert wine. I'm going to drink it all the time.
I read that Yuengling, I think I talked to you about this beforehand.
Yep, let's hear it.
Is making a beer. It is called the Raging Eagle. Mm-hmm. And it's a 24-ounce mango beer.
So
now,
the name and the description do not match at all. Raging Eagle, I don't know what that would be, but I would not guess a mango.
I think, I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. I think that what's interesting is that, like, I think Yuengling is seen as there are different camps about Yuengling, right? Is it seen as like I think that some people on the East Coast see it as like kind of like a mediocre, somewhat trashy party beer.
It's a step above Bud Light.
Yeah, it's like a step above Bud Light, but it's not like it's not a craft beer. I think people
Right.
in the middle of the country see it as like
Fancy.
maybe a craft beer,
Yeah.
and then people on the West Coast see it as like a shitty beer, or possibly they see it as like an old beer that hasn't changed its style.
But that's a little surprising because you'd think that the West Coast is one of the last places to get it.
Mm-hmm.
And so they'd be like slightly behind maybe the East Coast's opinion.
Yeah, I think we see Yuengling on the East Coast as like very widely distributed, when in fact like it's only widely distributed kind of around here, around Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think this is a very weird move because I could see a lot of breweries are moving into, they're maybe making off like brands off of themselves that are entering craft beer territory. This is just a move completely in the opposite direction. They're going to make this like weird ass mango beer with an eagle on the side.
Well, it's like Sam Adams. Like Sam Adams started off maybe very, very early on claiming to be a craft brewery or small, what's it called? I can't think of the name, but like not one of these big things, but they immediately went into the direction of becoming a largely distributed national beer. And they're trying to like, they're trying to get back to their roots and claim that they're the first craft beer. It's like, yeah, you just weren't Bud Light. It doesn't make you any different than them. You're just a different version of Bud Light. You're the same thing, just not called Bud Light. And so I feel like with Yuengling, maybe they started feeling like they're getting a little bit too far away from what they wanted to be, which was like kind of a small tri-state area distributed beer.
But what do you think if they wanted to enter more into a craft scene? You don't have to put that thing in a 24-ounce can and make it mango.
Well, that's the craft beer move, though. That's them saying we want to look just like that's the can art is very cool. I like everything they've done.
That old screaming eagle.
Yeah, I mean that's their original sort of mascot or logo or whatever. It's badass looking. It looks cool on a can. The name is cool, but it doesn't make sense with the description, with the style that it is. I don't understand that. But like I get it, and it's probably an okay beer. But I bet the 24-ounce. Oh wait, 24-ounce. Wait a minute. Is that what that says? 24 ounce?
Yeah. It's really
is that what you're talking about?
Yeah,
I just realized that 24 ounces is not.
It's bigger than that.
Yeah, that's a giant beer.
Okay, Colin now agrees this is ridiculous.
Yeah, nope, you're right. I was going off the premise that this was like a 4-pack of 16 ounces. This is a 24 ounce. Tall, not even a tall boy. That's what I don't know what you call that anymore.
It's a huge boy.
I guess it's a tall boy, but what is their move?
I don't know what their move is. It doesn't make any sense.
I was totally on board with like fighting you a little bit on this, but now I don't know what's going on. The can art's still cool, I guess. I don't know.
Opportunity here to go into a recurring segment that I've created.
Yes.
Which is kind of the beers.
You
can't. Okay. Fine. Go ahead. I'm
going
to talk about some of the beers that have come out in the last week.
Yes.
So
let's do it.
We had the Source Java. In a minute, I'm going to be drinking the Helles Lager. We'll talk about that for a second. We also had Ship Bottom come onto the platform. So Ship Bottom released a beer. Do you remember the name?
Oh crap, I did.
It was an Elvis beer situation with the banana, the peanut butter. It looks
was a
great.
stout, I think.
I ordered 2 4-packs of it. Colin ordered 1 4-packs of it. And we're going to be going down this weekend. So I don't know. It's this podcast is going to come out in 2 weeks, so it's not going to make any sense to say meet us there. But if you have time travel abilities, please meet us there.
Ooh, good.
It is a dessert stout. It's called Peanut Butter Banana Imperial Stout. Also, like, welcome to the platform. Ship Bottom's super cool. They have multiple locations. There's a location in, I think, outside Philadelphia. There's a location in, obviously, Ship Bottom, although there is some contention about whether or not the location in Ship Bottom is actually in Ship Bottom. But, yeah, it's been great to work with so far. We're really excited to have them on the platform and keep going.
Yeah.
And another one is that Clubhouse Bakery by Fritz's over in New Brunswick, our bakery partner.
One of my favorite
has
things
released a series of vegan dips for the Super Bowl.
Yeah, my favorite thing about them is that they. So quick backstory on them. Fritz's is I guess it's a restaurant. I haven't been. but just
It's
based
a
on
restaurant.
the conversations we've had with Jonathan there, who I don't know if he's an owner, if he's just he runs the kitchen or both. Anyway,
I've physically been there. I can confirm.
restaurant. Okay, so it sounds like an awesome spot. It's right across. It's right in like the heart of
For sure.
Rutgers,
right
college
off,
town.
Like George Street.
Yeah,
It's
it's across the street from some brewery that gets tons of traffic when there's not a pandemic. And so they reached out because first of all, they learned about us through Source, through the drops that Source was doing with us. And so they reached out saying like, hey, we want to try this thing. We get a lot of college students here, and they just line up. Every night they line up, and it overwhelms us every time. And they all order the same thing because we have a limited menu. But
they're buying late night Sandies.
Yeah,
That's
or apps or something like finger foods, drunk food basically.
Yeah.
And so what they said was, can we come up with something where people can kind of do the same thing? We can drop it at 9 p.m. While people are still a little bit sober. They'll get the text message. They'll pre-order it, and we'll make the pickup window like midnight. And then that way, by the time that we close orders, we're going to know exactly how much to prepare. All people have to do is come up and scan their QR code, take their food, and walk away. Versus what they were doing in the past was lines were just forming outside of this pickup window. You put your order in, you step to the side, you wait for your food.
Doesn't work in COVID.
It doesn't. Well, it doesn't work in general.
Also, like you want time at the bar. You want to.
Totally.
No one wants to stand in a line.
If you get a text that says show up in 15 minutes, your food's going to be ready. That's the best for everybody. And so we worked with them on that. And unfortunately, just because COVID was, it had nothing to do with them. It had to do with the campus. They couldn't get kids back on campus because COVID was ripping through Rutgers as well. And so they said, okay, let us regroup. We're going to figure something else out. And in the meantime, they came up with this sort of side business unrelated to anything that we had talked to them about called Clubhouse Bakery.
Yeah, it's not a different location. It's kind of run out of the same space. But the idea is that they are creating this, I think, vegan bakery. The idea is that all the stuff is vegan. I think.
I don't know.
At least everything I've seen them release is vegan.
Yeah, I was going to say, because I think they had cheese on some of the dips. It was like a nacho dip, maybe. Maybe it's just beans, though. I don't know.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
real cheese. It actually says in the description that your non-vegan friends will be jealous.
Okay, then there you go. That's so I think you're right then. But they've been one of our most active groups on it. They do something at least once a month, which is very cool to see.
I ordered their Christmas cookies, and they came with this super, super nice note.
Yeah.
That also said subscribe to us on BeerBroadcast, and we're gonna
That's awesome.
be releasing our stuff on here from now on.
Yeah, it's so funny to
really
me.
nice.
Like there's the link right there in their about section to the Beer Broadcast page, which is
He gets it. He gets the whole
It's just-
site. He gets the whole idea.
Yeah, it's so funny though because it's like this was a platform built to support breweries, but there's clearly use here for something that's not beer related at all, and it's really fun to see the way that they're using it. And
for a vegan restaurant to
for
take on cheese dips, I mean,
yeah, and you've had their stuff and you've liked it, right? It's very good.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're doing it right.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other releases you want to talk about?
I think that's it as far as the releases, but I am excited for the Super Bowl. I don't know who's playing.
It is the Bucks and the Chiefs.
Great.
They're both red teams, so we will see.
And just like as we always do, if you are listening from the future, please text us the winner.
Yeah, and tell us who to bet on.
Yep.
We will keep our eyes on our phones. What if this turns into a podcast that's like the first time anybody makes contact with a time traveler? How cool would that be? You're like, hey, we don't want to stop podcasting because somebody's listening to us in the future and is feeding us a lot of really good information. Or we just become like so wealthy off of these tips.
We just never publish them anymore.
Yeah. We become so wealthy off these tips that we just like vanish. Anyway. I think this would be a fun. We've talked about this before. Did you have other topics you wanted? Like you were like eager to go into.
I have so much stuff to talk
I know.
about.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't want to like. Oh, this is good. So
we
we can go for days. I think this will be a fun topic because you and I have talked about this before. We've sort of daydreamed about this topic before. hypothetically speaking, what do you think we would do if we opened our own bar? What would be our sort of theme if there was one? What would we serve? And we've talked about this before. I just want to like reiterate this now on this podcast because I think we are both very aligned with the goals of this bar.
We'll see. We'll see in a minute here.
Yeah. So go ahead. You kick it off.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest parts is that we'd want to feature local beers, especially beers that were on the platform. Hopefully providing some kind of a way to kind of taste the beers that came through. Maybe we'd even like stockpile the beers that had previously been on so you could try them at the bar.
Yeah.
I also am a firm believer that bars need to be not super pretentious.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted for a while to start this website called The Dirtiest Dives, I was calling it. I don't necessarily need this to be a dive bar, but I do think that there's something to that vibe that I would like to maintain, which is like I want this to be a place that like you can kind of come and there might be regulars there.
Yeah.
And like
that's okay.
Pretty chill. Yeah, it's okay that there are regulars. It's not a sports bar. It's just like a place you come to hang out. It's like a neighborhood bar.
Yeah. You're not trying to.
It also might be called the church, so you can say you're going to church.
Oh yeah.
And,
that's right.
It might be in an old church.
Yes, that's an important aspect.
Yeah, you might be able to just like drink in the pews or whatever.
Yeah, and I think an important piece to this is that it's not. You're not opening with like big dreams or goals. You're opening it at a certain sort of threshold, and you just want to maintain that. You don't want to get more popular. You don't want to get less popular.
I'm a software developer. Ideally, I could open a bar and like I could be the bartender and be writing software while I work there and hang out. Like I want to, I mean like, I don't know, maybe that's too much of a dream, but like I've been to a lot of bars where like the bartender seems to have a ton of like downtime.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to like have a bar like that where it's like, it's chill and it's not super intense.
Do you think that you could
I wouldn't actually try to write software.
Well, so let's think about this. Could you? I'm now thinking of a bar that has like a vending machine for beer. Could you program?
You know, there's a place.
There's a place that does this?
There's a place in Newark. Shout out Newark because I love it because I went to college there. And there's a place in Newark that has they have you sit down at a table, you say what beers you want. They adjust the taps. There's like 3 taps at your table. They adjust the taps at your table to serve those beers, and then they charge you by the ounce.
And there's something that measures how many ounces are actually being poured. That's very cool.
It's a metered beer system.
Yeah,
In fact, I had an idea for a long time. I have several ideas, which I will now say a couple of them. One idea was essentially a beer bar that works like a froyo bar.
Yes.
Where like there's a bunch of taps on the wall. You pick what you want. You pour it out yourself, and then that's it. You have like an RFID badge that you scan at the thing. You take what you want. You sit down, and then essentially there's just like a bouncer.
Yeah.
At the place or whatever, you know, like
sure.
You don't really need. I mean, you need like bussers maybe, but you don't need a serving staff. Another idea is this is a little bit more out there, but another idea is a bar that does not sell beer or liquor or anything.
Sounds like a terrible
bar. Hear me out. This is basically, I would say, like a social club or something. I don't know. Like, lawyers email me, does this need a liquor license? I don't know. But, like, if you don't sell beer or alcohol, it's basically like
BYOB.
BYOB bar. BYOB bar. So, like, we have a whole bar set up. We maybe have some snacks available. And it's set up like a bar, not like a restaurant. So you come and you, like, hang out and, like, we just chill.
How are you making money?
I don't care.
Okay. Cool. That doesn't sound great. I'm not going in on that one.
So we're not going to do that one. But
I have a suggestion.
You pay a membership fee because it's a social club.
That's cool. I think that's cool.
Okay, what do you got?
So and social clubs, you can always pay like an arm and a leg because people want it to be exclusive.
Oh yeah, it's exclusive.
So you were talking about this metered draft system.
Yeah.
I was thinking. So have you seen the sushi restaurants where the plates come out on a conveyor belt, and you just take what you want.
I love it.
I'm thinking of.
You went to Amsterdam too, so you know about the late night snack vending machines.
I don't know if I do.
They're like these businesses that you can go to, and they're in the front room. There's like a little turning thing that has like all the different snacks you can order on it, and you push which snack thing you want, and then the snack comes out. But it's like they're cooked. They're fried food.
Oh, okay. So it's not like a vending machine of like chips in a bag. It's like
it's like you can get
food.
some like weird hunks of deep fried sausage with mustard on them, or it's something that would make sense for the Netherlands.
Okay.
You can get like a fried shark or something.
That doesn't make sense for the Netherlands, but
yeah,
I get what you're trying to say. Yeah. So that's what I'm thinking. That would be really cool. At the same time, probably a hazard because somebody could just like bloop, drop something in a passing. Unless you put a lid on it. I don't know. There's some logistics to be worked out.
They figured it out.
Well, we have to figure it out. We'd be the first ones.
Sorry, I think I interrupted your.
That's okay. I think because we need to talk through it. I'm talking about a conveyor belt that has just like draft pours that are just going around. There's a label on it. There's got to be a lid so you can't spike it or something stupid like that. And as people are like, I need another beer, they're like, ooh, that one looks good. I'll take that one. Or it could just be cans. You just take a can off the conveyor belt, and I don't know how you charge somebody for that, but it's like a self-serve sort of novelty kind of idea. I don't think it would be very popular, but it would be interesting to see something like that happen.
It turns out in the end we are not super aligned.
Well, okay, so let's get back. Let's get back to like that. That was sort of like going to the fringe ideas.
Okay, yeah.
The thing I'm going to say what I think we agree on, and you tell me if I'm wrong. We want some place that definitely passes as a dive bar, but is clean.
Yep. Yeah.
A place that hosts regulars. A place that is from walking distance to or within a neighborhood, nearby that people can get to. The people that are coming in every day. This place sells primarily light beer, meaning the money makers are having the regulars' preferred beer, which is probably going to be something light. But then also having a unique
I don't know about that
selection
part.
of craft.
I don't know about it. Yeah, I think like it's important to.
Not that we'd want to. That we'd probably.
Yeah, it's okay to have like people that are there for the light beers or whatever, but it's I think it's very important to have like. I'm very into bars that have less of a draft selection and like 200 different cans or something, and that's kind of my scene.
Does that start to cross the boundaries of a potential pretentious beer snob crowd?
Maybe. I don't know if any of you are out there, but I think we maybe talked about it previously. But the place called the Copper Mine. Was able to do this, and there was that place in DC that I think I talked about in a previous episode as well.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's tough. It's tough to toe that line because if your primary thing is like this giant case of beer, it's almost like what you want is like a bar where there's 3 taps and it's like Bud Light, Miller, and then you want like a basement full of 300 kinds of craft beer. Yeah, it's almost like a hidden.
Like you know that your regular crowd, the people who are going to be paying your bills, are basically just drinking light beer because they want to drink as much of it as they can and they want to get hammered. But you want to draw in a crowd that's going to come in and appreciate you for that sort of fine selection of craft beer that maybe it's not hard to get, but it's like you can't find it at a bar. You can find it at a liquor store, but maybe not at a bar.
Yeah. And we call it BeerBroadcast. So. We have the name and everything already.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. Really quick, I wanted to shout out this beer that I'm drinking because,
you went too quick because
I didn't finish the other one. It's just so heavy. This was actually a beer trade from Ming from the last one that we were at. The last show that we were on. This is from Diner Brew Co. This is Average Joe's American Ale.
Diner Brew Co. Where's Diner Brew Co. at?
Mount Vernon, New York. Shout out Diner Brew Co. Love the label. This is spot on for what I would think they would have for their name. This is
it has kind of like a neon electric diner on the front.
It's very cool. Sort of like a hand painted portrait of a diner with like a neon train with the beer name on the side. 5%
Do you remember
ABV.
that place in San Francisco with the train coming through the wall? The cable car bar?
No. Was I there?
Yeah.
Was I there?
No.
Okay.
Okay, sorry. Okay.
So,
I don't
remember.
You know what else happened in the past week? We were guests on a different podcast
That's right.
called Ghosted.
Ghosted with Chris and Paige. Chris has been one of our sound engineers for a handful of our episodes. And we connected with him a few weeks back, I think, if not more. And
I saw in my house what I'm pretty sure was a ghost cat.
Oh boy, you brought it with you.
Yeah.
Is this after we did
Paige has infected me
Oh no.
with ghost vibes.
Well,
That's what we talk about a little bit on the podcast, is that like everyone she talks to about the ghosts sees a ghost.
or really, I thought it was
something.
that she. Everywhere she goes, she like finds them basically, or they find her.
Yeah, like she's like digging up the ghost, or like she's she'll go to a place that like someone did not think was haunted, and all of a sudden like she'll feel something, and
Stir 'em
then they start feeling something, and that was super fun. It was a really good time.
It was a lot of fun.
We talked about such important topics as what is the difference between ghastly and ghostly.
No, I'm pretty sure you just talked about that. I don't think that made it.
Turns out one of them is a Pokemon.
Yeah, I don't think that made it into a very long
The
segment
final
of the
cut
show.
does not maybe include that.
Yeah, it's a good thing you're bringing it up here because very important question to ask. So it was a lot of fun. I think I'm still 100% willing to go stay in a haunted house, like the most haunted house you could ever find.
It sounds like
after
Paige's
that.
house is haunted, so you might have your opportunity.
I'm down. I will. You find the most haunted house. And
What's the cat's name? Do you remember? Everything about this house is haunted.
I want to say like Pebbles, but I don't think that's right.
It's very wrong. It has a name like... I'm not even going to try.
Because it's hard to say, or
No, yeah, it's like it's in a different language. You wouldn't understand.
okay.
I don't remember. I think it was like... I'm going to say it to you. Stickly?
What?
It's wrong.
First of all, I'm pretty sure the audio caught that.
Yeah, I think the cat's name is Stickly. Stickly.
Stickly.
If you want to ask him,
so.
Just P.O. Box 963, New York City, New York State.
Stickly.com.
Yeah.
So that's how we doing on time? Okay, we've got a little bit more time.
We should probably talk briefly about the global financial meltdown that has occurred in the past week.
Yeah, so it's such a mixed bag, and I don't even know. I think I have a very unpopular take on it.
Okay.
So
I just got a text message that said AMC and BB fucked me. So, good timing.
is this BB as in us?
No, BB. That'd be funny. I think BB is
like, what do we do wrong?
Some other like somewhat failing company.
Okay.
This has been amazing and sad and frustrating. I think like part of the I do hope that there's some kind of like permanent change that affects the short sellers.
Yes.
But also in the same kind of stroke, it does seem like some people are about to / in the process of being completely fucked. People that didn't know much about this thing and kind of like got in on the trail end of it are losing a ton of money. And those are not the short sellers. Those are just real people. Just like everyday people.
So that's where I think I have an unpopular opinion is that, first of all, I think what happened was wrong. Regardless of the circumstances, I think not being able to buy into a clearly well-performing stock is
That's a whole different thing.
It's just wrong. But
so
at the same,
for anyone that doesn't know about this, there's a company called Robinhood.
yeah,
There's actually like a variety of companies that have the same type of problem.
yeah,
Essentially,
it wasn't just them.
When this thing happened, and short sellers are trying to like make good on their positions, essentially trying to exit their positions with not a loss. These random people on Reddit are trying to make it so they can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then the people that are letting the buying and selling of stocks happen have stopped the people on Reddit essentially from buying more, claiming that they're protecting them from losing money.
Yes, so that's the part that I think was wrong, is that what they should have said, so a company like Robinhood, what they said was, we're protecting our customers. What their customers think is they were protecting the hedge funds that they think they're in cahoots with, and they're trying to
what probably
have them not
actually
lose
happened
money.
is that like Robinhood doesn't want to be in a position of like floating equity that they can't cover.
They can't, and that's 100% true, and that's the part that I think people haven't really caught on to yet. And that's what Robinhood should have said up front was, if we didn't stop this, we would have gone bankrupt and we would not exist anymore. That's what they should have said.
Instead they're like, we're protecting you,
exactly.
baby.
They're being very vague, and they're still doing things that are really shady while being vague, and like that just doesn't mix. What they should have said was, we did this because instead of us continuing to let you trade on our platform a day or two later, we would have been trying to figure out how to issue you all the money that we owe you so that we can disappear and become bankrupt and vanish off the face of the earth. And there's so many like trade-offs there with all of these things. Like, okay, that's your fault kind of, right? Shouldn't you have been able to cover something like this? Like, you're in this game, you should be able to cover it. On the flip side, like, they're still sort of a small dog. Like, they're still gaining their momentum. These other services, these other banks have billions of dollars in valuation in support, and so they were sort of just like the lowest man on the totem pole. And on top of that, their platform got exploited for a method of trading that they weren't built for something the same way like these large institutions that move lots of money normally, the way they normally would work. A bunch of people banded together and was like, hey, let's act like a hedge fund and let's use Robinhood as our vehicle.
Right.
And Robinhood was like, we're not built for that. We don't know how to do that. We're built for you. We're built for you. We're built for individuals. And so they should have been upfront. They should have said, we just couldn't afford to cover it because we don't have that kind of liquidity. And so we had to pause it. And so that's, I don't know. I mean, who knows what the truth will be in 5-10 years, like if there's a story about this. Right now, it seems like Robinhood was just caught in the middle of some crazy volatility, and they happened to be the vehicle that people chose to create that volatility. And it's the kind of thing that's never going to happen again because people have figured out that can happen now.
I just feel bad for all the people that like saw the news, bought the stock, and then lost all their money.
That's the other part. So Dave Portnoy, who's the founder of...
Because that money went straight to the short sellers. I mean, like...
Right.
Yeah.
But Dave Portnoy, who's the founder of Barstool Sports, lost $700,000. The problem is that he doesn't really know what he's doing. So he went all in on it just like everybody else did. And instead of selling at the right time, he just kept holding, thinking that it's gonna dip and it's gonna come back.
Right.
So he was wrong about that. And what he did that was even worse is he brought a lot of his followers along with him. He was like, no, everybody hold, trust me, I know what I'm doing. And so all of these people who have never traded before, they heard about this thing. They heard about people being minted as brand new millionaires because of this thing with GameStop. We're like, I want to get in on that. They bought at a high, and it's never come back.
Yep.
Because they followed him, because he thinks, like, keep riding this wave. It's eventually going to go. I learned...
It's all gambling. I mean, like, this is not investing.
I learned the term bagman from a story that was talking about him in particular. A bagman is, like, somebody who doesn't buy at the right time.
They think that they're doing it.
Well, no. A bagman is, like, the last holdout, basically. On a failing stock, on a trending downward stock, a bagman is, like, the last guy to give up. And they're holding strong, thinking that they're going to see some prosperity. And so rather than selling, even as they're like at a little bit of a loss, they keep holding all the way down until the ship hits the bottom of the ocean.
Right.
That's what he did, and that's what he did with a lot of his followers. And the best description that I heard about this was somebody like Dave Portnoy, a Bagman, blaming Wall Street is the same thing as a gambler blaming the casino, which is that's there's definitely both sides of the story. Like, people have an opinion on both sides of it, but that's what a lot of people ended up falling for. It was their first time getting into trading stocks, and they were just trusting other people, thinking that these people knew what was best. And the only people who really like made out on this were the ones who were in it from the start and like plotted against everything.
When I was when I was very young, like maybe 12 or something, I took all of the money that I had and I went to my dad and I was like, listen, I know you have this like stock thing and I want to buy it. I want to buy stock. So I gave him like all the money that I had at the time and I bought stock in Real Networks.
How did it go?
Not great.
How much is it worth now?
I don't know if it exists.
Probably not.
But what's sad about it is like, that's what happens. You know, like there's a lesson there for me, but it was very like a small lesson. Unfortunately, people are still learning that lesson now.
Yeah.
And they're learning like someone says like, oh, be careful, only spend what you think you can invest. And people are like, yeah, cool, boomer. And they put all their money in and then it's like,
yeah,
straight to the bottom. So,
well, that's okay.
Just be careful out there, you know?
Perfect.
Like you shouldn't, if there's some situation where you can put money in and like make a bunch of money and it's like foolproof and everyone's doing it, like just think about it for a second. Like
perfect segue into me putting $200 into Dogecoin as it reached the peak of 7 cents, which it has never seen before and will never see again.
By the time this podcast comes out, though, it's going to be at $1. So,
well, here's the tricky part. I only have like 3,000 shares, so if it somehow gets to $1, I'm only going to make like $2,000 on it. But like I bought it at the peak, so I didn't optimize for the most amount. If I bought it at a fraction of a penny and it got to $1, that would be really great.
Yeah.
What's going to happen instead is that like I might only 10x $200, which is not great.
Yeah. Still pretty good.
Right, but at the same time, like the risk that's associated with it is I invested in a meme coin that is only being inflated because people like Elon Musk are tweeting Dogecoin to the moon, and then everybody's jumping on it, and then it goes back down again.
Musk.
But it's not, even that tweet alone, which went out this morning, is not going to be enough for it to go up above the 7 cents that I bought it for, which was so dumb.
I'm putting Elon Musk on notice too.
Let's make an Elon coin.
He messaged out recently that one of his cars is like, I can go from 0 to 60 in 0.2 seconds or something. And I wrote back, meh.
Whoa.
So he's on notice.
He's on thin
I have
ice
to. We're out of time, I assume. I have to introduce my beer real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is the other half of the Source release. This is the Source Blonde Abbey, marking my second Belgian beer in a single podcast.
It's that time of year.
Yeah. And I guess this is a lobby beer because we're pretty much out of time here.
Well, I guess that's where we wrap it up. Do you want to do it?
Yeah. This has been Good Not Great, episode 8, which does rhyme. And we will see you next week.
See you.